last visit to Guilin in China, I became addicted to their local rice noodles. Unlike vermicelli, the Guilin ones are much more robust. They can tolerate a higher temperature and a longer cooking time. Because of their neutral and subtle taste, you can go wild with different broth and toppings. Guilin 米粉 Water snail rice noodle soup. I had a great time slurping through some of them and made a few videos back home. Here is another one I want to share with you guys. Rice noodles with lamb. It starts with homemade red oil. I have the recipe attached on the card above. However, I discovered a new way of making it recently. Here is how. Take 150 grams of ground chili flakes or powder into a heat-proof bowl. Take 100 grams of ginger, crush it with the side of a knife or just cut it open. Heat up 120 grams of vegetable oil on low heat to about 210 degrees Celsius, dropping our crushed ginger and half tablespoon of Szechuan peppercorns. Once they are fragrant, turn off the heat and let it cool to around 150 degrees Celsius. Pour only the fragrant oil into our chilies. Add 100 grams of lard and 1.5 tablespoons of sesame oil. Mix it well until the fat is melted and all ingredients are incorporated. Comes to our Guilin rice noodles, the fresh ones are always better, but we can also work with the dry ones. Soak them in cold water for at least an hour. It will shorten the cooking time drastically. Most of the rice noodle soup has a thick broth. We need 500 grams of pork bones. I'm using pigtails here, but marrow bones would even be better. 500 grams of lamb cutlet with or without the skin. Wash them thoroughly and put them into a soup pot. Cover it with 2 liters of water, add 1 thumb size of ginger crushed, half tablespoon of Szechuan peppercorns and half tablespoon of white pepper powder. Boil it on high heat and remove the forams on the surface when needed. Once the soup is relatively clean, put the lid back on and continue boiling the broth for about 2 hours. After it, we can remove the lamb cutlet carefully, put the pot back on high heat, and further cooking for another 3 to 4 hours. Once the lamb is cooled enough to handle, we can remove the flesh from the bones and cut it into thin slices. They are the topping for our noodle soup. If you have some fresh rice noodles, take 100 grams and cook them in the same lamb broth. If you use the dry ones instead, we need to cook them in a separate pot since they have much more starch while preparing. Cook them for 5 to 10 minutes until they are softened. Here is our reduced broth after 4 hours of cooking. It's enough for about 3 to 4 portions. It's very rich and thick, full of flavor. Remove any pieces in it, only leave the liquid for our soup. Now let's finally assemble our lamb rice noodle soup. Transfer the cooked rice noodles into a large bowl. Add half tablespoon of soy sauce, a pinch of salt, a pinch of white pepper powder, half teaspoon of our red oil or even more to your taste, and enough broth to cover the noodles. Top it with some lamb slices we prepared earlier and some minced coriander. Lamb and corianders are like the best friend. They go great together. Enjoy! Did you subscribe yet? If not, click here, click here, click here. Every day watch new videos at 6 p.m. Here are my 2 recommended videos. Thanks for watching. See ya. 谢谢大家。